Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be tackling episode 12, the finale of the TV anime of Tanya the Evil, or the saga thereof, and we're very excited to be here. I should add as well that we're also doing the singular special / OVA that exists. Yes, in my brief research, seemingly something about a desert pasta? We're gonna say. Maybe something a little bit light for Tanya the Evil, which would be interesting. That almost sounds like Goals and Panzer type territory. That's a little bit strange. Either way, again, that's the plan for the video. Let's jump in here with the YouTube comments, which are up there ready to go. Fair few different ideas to bounce off here today as well, starting here with Sal. I think the beach scene with only man-ass is kind of an anti-anime win. Do I get to bring out one of my favorite words, potentially? Subversive? Oh my god. Maybe a little bit. I think they know what they're doing. I'll give them that. And yes, Zetsubou is growing on me. I thought, again, from my early dislike of the scenes where people are just talking in a room, Zetsubou's grown on me. He's one of the guys in the room that are talking that I actually quite enjoy the presence of. Yes, some good improvement all around with many aspects of the show. Moving on here, we have Kelvin, who basically does the whole trench gun thing, again, that I kind of did and went down that rabbit hole in the episode at least a little bit, where, again, it's essentially a shotgun, a pump-action shotgun if we're going to be specific. Like, you just jump straight in and go doosh, 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 doosh. And again, if we're banning that shit in like a war, that's pretty fucked up. It's a fucked up weapon. And again, Sensei in the episode has like a powered up version. He's like putting magic juice into it, which is no good for anybody involved really. So yeah, we both kind of went down that rabbit hole in our own ways. I like this extra stuff here about the Hague and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. Pencil Sharp, next comment here. Anson Sue's self-destruct is the same tactic Tanya used against his crew back at the beginning of her career. Yet another of her own moves comes back at her, which is again kind of the vibe of the entire show if we want to break it down like that. Yes, this is a great observation. Thank you very much for the insight. Just another example of, again, that phenomenon taking place. I was hoping we'd get some of this as well, the armistice stuff. So an armistice is an agreement to stop fighting. A peace treaty resolves the conflicts that started the war to begin with, in theory. The Treaty of Versailles, again, controversial. I see somebody else has done a modern history class. I most certainly have. I believe one of our exam questions, or at least a thesis statement that we were to argue for or against, was insofar as how much did the Treaty of Versailles lead to World War II. Which again, I forget which way I even argued. History is weird when you teach it at school because it's less about your point of view, right? And it's more about how you argue it. And again, I probably just found whatever sources were the best or I could use in the best essay. And again, that was a very long time ago now. Back to Tanya, however, it seems like, again, in our situation here, very much World War II inspired peace treaty. Germany is in control of northern France, a collaborative government in Vichy in the south, and a resistance in exile with the support of its colonies. And again, some real life reference stuff there as well. So yeah, seems like a bit of a mess, but again, we knew it was gonna. We knew it was gonna be. Because again, the show has to continue. The war must go on. And yeah, it seems like we have the Republic here fleeing to their Algeria equivalent, which again has some not so cool stuff happening in real life with France. Very cool. Again, last week when I'm like, I don't really want to touch that kind of stuff. It's kind of not great. I was right. Finishing us up here, we have 3 comments from Bamps. Not the first time an Aoi Yuki character has been deployed via missile, of course, referencing the one and only Symphogear here. Shoutouts to Symphogear. I feel like I haven't done this on the channel in a while. You should watch Symphogear. Literally everybody that watches that show likes it. So, like, I don't know what are you waiting for, man? Just go do it. If only Tanya had not let it slip about going on special reconnaissance, then she probably could have gotten away with it. That being attacking the ported breast, of course. We're going to be very mature about that name too. Yeah, she probably could have. But again, Visha was already kind of in the scene as well, so it's weird. I feel like she would have gotten caught and shot in the head regardless, so like, again, you can't really fight against God all that well. It doesn't really go great. He's got a lot of power. And finishing us up here, we have a theory as to how Tanya survived the explosion from Anson Su. Her eyes were definitely glowing a bright shade of yellow, you would say. So again, she said a little prayer to herself, maybe a big prayer to herself, and that kind of got her out of the jam. Again, we'll have to see as we go forward. We're implying here that potentially we used up that power to the point of not being able to use it anymore. Being X will probably show up in this episode that's upcoming. We'll see. But that could be a development, for sure, for sure. Either way, that'll do it for the YouTube comments this week. Let's jump over the Patreon and give them a shout out. This is only really relevant for one more week for Tanya the Evil, but if you really want to see that movie, like this week, it's up there on Patreon already. Click on the link in the description below. $6 a month. You can watch that video right now. I don't know, potentially have some time on your hands or something. Could be a good idea. I don't know, I'm bad at selling it, but it's pretty cool. I like it. Many people have supported me on Patreon, which I do enjoy, such as Mickey Babbers, AJ, Banana Rama Hamadamasama, Bisa, Bobbin, Capella, Chobo Ribby, Copley, Sinarin, Dapper Dwarf, Domobot, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fruit, Fusel, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glank, Greybeard, Gus N, Hans Peter, Ika, Yaku Yavanen, Jacob R, Jami Boo, Joran, Kasogtha, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Leal, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Mistake L Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Nico Lane, Panic, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Runlad B&K, St. Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, The Lazy Panda Man, Waifu Overdose, Without a Net, Yuki Ali, Zach, Agomancer, Binchi, Voodoo Chili, and Ferdinand Hernando. Thank you to everybody for giving me money. I enjoy the money. Let's broadly set us up. We won. We won the war, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, our little operation there worked a treat. We killed a bunch of Republic troops. We stormed the capital. Maybe not like that, but we went into the Paris equivalent, which was awesome, epic. One problem though, Tanya sees that this war is going to continue. They made a getaway, some small resistance from the kind of Republic forces. Again, Tanya's from our world. She seems pretty caught up on history. She knows where this is going. And again, she missed the opportunity to nip this thing in the bud here and now, and she's lamenting that. And again, we talked in circles last week about how, is this even what Tanya originally even wanted? Why is she so... In the process of trying to speed up the completion of the war, she's committing more and more heinous acts, and again relying more and more on being X in doing so, and missing the original point of what she was even trying to do, which was avoid conflict. Very specifically, she wants to jump into a literal rocket and rocket herself towards conflict from a war that's already won. Is she potentially a little bit misguided here? A little bit. Just a little bit. And I think, again, the show's very obviously trying to get that across. I feel like this is going to be an awkward video, because I feel like episode 12 here is going to be a lot of epilogue-y, kind of setting up new stuff, paying off old stuff, blah, 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 where, again, maybe that would have been better served as an 11 and 12, but again, we're gonna do that. We're gonna finish off the TV anime stuff, and then we're gonna watch the special. So look forward to that. That's the structure we've decided with, I guess. And with that being said, I might as well jump right in. Like the video, subscribe, Patreon, Discord, of course. Let's jump in here with episode 12 of the Saga of Tanya the Evil right now. Rightio, I have episode 12 up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 41 seconds on that one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have the Tenrai Sensei copy here, of course, so get that copy if you feel like it. Should be very similar to official stuff. Picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure as well. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio? 3, 2, 1, go. Full moon. Ominous building. A scorned Tanya. Marching to have a strongly worded discussion with somebody. Yeah, that was cool. Okay. Great opening scene already. I'm aware. Zetsubou. Tell me where. They're sipping on some wine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tanya's gonna be an unhappy chappy here in a minute. Oh, I think it's already happening. Oh, Rarigan, get out of harm's way, buddy. You're not gonna want to be here. Did I ever get a voice actor for Rarigan? He sounds familiar. Just then, he did, actually. Rarigan, come on now. She will eat your ass. I'm serious. Yeah, she doesn't look very happy. How to use a victory. Was that? Is that what that said? Oh, look at this. Okay. What a coffee in this show. Or tea? Remember when she was spelling it everywhere? What would you rather? She looks inconsolable. Unfiltered, you say? Nope. But it is fleeting, this moment. Oh, great cut. What happened to the tea/coffee? Yeah. I mean, Viciousaur. Pause on the lotion, big dog. Viciousaur a lot more violent Tanya than you guys have. That's all I'll say. Ominous. If I could only be a fly on the wall in that room. Elaborate. They yucking it up. But not the bigwigs. Unfiltered. Hashtag unfiltered. Damn. Oh yeah, he's God mentioned. We don't like that. I fucking hate God. Indeed. Oh yeah, you're still holding that grudge, eh? Yep. For sure, for sure. Which time? But I kind of did, though. Ooh, disrespectful. Do you know what an isekai is? Have you heard of the process of the isekai? Okay. Pragmatisto? Okay. A lot of talking in circles. We need somebody more irrational. Good point. Cool painting, too. I don't know. Any human alive? Now, are you going to dive into that a little bit more? And Sensei. Oh. Indeed. Yeah. Explain. Oh. Oh, yeah! Okay, I guess you could lump that in. Yeah, that's a very, very direct metaphor now that I think about it. So they didn't account for that. The rationalists. So I don't get pushed onto the fucking rails again. Okay. You're interrupting. Tanya resisting the urge to go, told you so. Well, that's a lovely background. Mr. Mustache? This fucking guy? We fight into the end? Yes, my CG brethren. Let us go. That seemed very emotional, emotionally charged. Why is there a war update if the war's over? Tension. A lot of tension. What, the war? Back to normal. That's what the advertisement said. Mm-hmm. There was no reward. Damn, that's chilling. Sure. The double-headed dragon, Zetsubou and Rudersdorf. Of course I friggin' am. They've still got powerful allies as well. Looking at the Allied Kingdom. Wait, there's still Entente Alliance guys rolling around too? I guess. Gamer Rage. Hell yeah. Characters that are literally you. Our only choice is to continue the fight. Oh, so that's what we mean. Okay. I was like, do we mean southern France or... Yeah, no, we'll need to... Indeed. So we'll cross the Mediterranean. Beach episode. That certainly wouldn't happen. Being X. I'd like to imagine Being X is looking down at you very smugly right now. Either way, you're projecting onto it a lot of stuff. It's just a statue, Tanya. It can't hurt you. Really surprised we haven't seen Being X, actually. Oh, transition. Very cool. Yeah, this is very different, different looking. Love the background here. Love the setting. Most certainly there was. Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot about the damn Russians. Mutually assured destruction? Oh yeah, shit, look at him. Holy. It's all on perspective, true. The Federation! That's a big gun. Oh, look at this fucker. Ew. US? Oh, hell no. Think I know who that is. Mary Sue. I'm completely prepared. I'm avenging him. Interesting. I want to see her fucking eyes glow or some bullshit here. Eyes? Kami? Hell yeah. Alright, I'm fucking hyped. Let's go. Yeah, talk about emotional decisions, right? Tanya hit the nail on the head, man. Humans are inherently emotional creatures. That was a fantastic finale. Did exactly what I wanted it to do. Few little, things that are, get us on track for future stuff, but mostly just wrapping up this whole kind of Tanya arc. One thing I didn't mention during the reaction, but kind of mentioned a little bit last week, was the importance of Rerigan being that character here that's kind of standing in her way. Rerigan's the one that's got the most experience with Tanya being this kind of violent asshole. Like, of course he's just going to assume that she's back on her bullshit. When in reality, when we actually sit her down and we have a real conversation, she hits something pretty well and is instantly proven correct. Broadly, seems like we're setting up Russians. Seems like we're setting up the Republic now has a few mates. Well, they have a few forces down there. That's going to be the thing we're doing in the immediacy. Obviously, the US and the Allied Kingdom from before as well. And again, we'll talk about it, but her name being Mary Sue and that being her role now is very interesting. We'll see. We will see. In the desert, Tanya. Yeah, we're missing a couple. Yes, ma'am. We must crush the whole world? A whole new world? Seems like you're losing it, Tanya. Losing the hat there is very interesting, actually. Indeed. Oh, great. She's not even hiding that shit anymore. Voice acting, man, too. Holy shit. Yeah, she is. Alright, let's go murder some more people, Tanya. I'm with you. As I said, what an episode. What an episode indeed. Yeah, let's jump straight into that special, which will probably be a little bit tonally different, let's be honest. What's it called again? Operation Desert Pasta. We are in a desert now. It's not dessert pasta, that's something else. Again, as I said before, I can't help but think about Girls und Panzer. We had a lot of stupid things named after food. Lots of stuff in Girls and Panzer like that. Anyway, I digress. Let's get this episode up. Rightio, I have the special for Tanya the Evil up there ready to go. 16 minutes and 48 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. Again, that's the Tenrai Sensei copy. Should be very similar to other stuff that's out there. I don't know how this thing's distributed. Maybe a Blu-ray. We'll see. There's a picture-in-picture version in the description below as well. Let's just give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1. Go. Okay. I should have taken note of time, actually. Bit of a downgrade in animation quality, which is very fair enough considering it's a special. Fidelity as well, I would say. Maybe it's my copy. Yes, Farragon? Oh yeah, the Uga guy. I like this guy. Yeah, that looks like watery pasta. What are you doing? Okay, so it is in present time. Yeah, they have to have desert pasta or something. Zetsubou. Italy? I guess they kind of are in the middle of this thing. And they haven't really shown up yet. Ooh, uniform change. Wait, we're rationing water? Somebody fucking give up their water for Visha right now. I'm dead serious. Ooh, he looks cool. We have desert pasta. We're just gonna be eating pasta or something. I mean, pasta's very easily storable and, you know, you reheat it, it goes great. K-Brup bread? Yeah, good point with the... Yeah, water specifically. And pasta. Kind of need some water. Mizu? Well, it's fucking useless. Dry pasta does suck. Look at Guns in the back. He's got the no sleeve on. That's disappointing. This may be a stupid question, but could you, like, provided it was clean, could you cook pasta in, like, ocean water? That's probably stupid. Way too salty, I would imagine. And again, as I mentioned, unclean. I didn't expect any battles to be in this thing. Interesting. Scary. It's frickin' Tanya the Evil's here to attack you. Better switch on. What the... Look at her. She's like got Spy Kids tech. What was that? Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Look at those tanks, man. Holy. Do they have any water to cook our pasta, potentially? Oh, shit! That was actually sick. Okay. Maybe we're not slacking as much on the animation. That was pretty cool. That was good. Like, seriously. Okay. Were they hiding, like, a nuke of some kind in there or something? I guess when a bunch of TNT goes off all at once, it probably isn't great. It seemed like a very big explosion, though. The soundtrack is elite. How about water for the pasta? Here we go. Oh, she's short. We're doing short jokes. The sad track. Is it al dente? Al dente? Something like that. What are you having with the pasta? Is it just plain pasta? Guess it's better than nothing, but... some garlic in there, bit of cream. Lots of pepper. Zetsubou? Don't get me started on Zetsubou. Ancient? Tomatoes? Anyone got any tomatoes? No, that's, that's G-Witch with the tomatoes at the moment. Looks like dog food. Something you give your dog on their birthday. Mm-hmm. Okay, we gotta find something to put on the pasta, though. No, don't attack the British. They don't have any good food. What would the British have that we want? Oh, excuse me. What makes you figure that? Oh, she said the quiet part out loud. That was, yeah, that animation there was very fun. Yeah, look at this shit. Hell yeah. I think she's low-key on the same wavelength, though. Ah. Adorable. We love Visha. Team Visha. Well, you're on bad terms with them at the moment. Desert pasta. I'm still holding out for some dessert pasta. Now that sounds pretty good too. Everyone's locked in as fuck because they're gonna like be able to eat good after this. I've never related so much to an episode. Look at cheekbones over there too. Oh, Visha looks scary there. Everyone's cracking jokes. Feels, I think I mentioned this in the past. Feels very sports team now. Yeah, see, there's some camaraderie. They're razzing each other up. But they know to lock in when necessary. Huh. Now, I don't know why they have fucking tomato sauce here, but sure, we'll take it. Canned tomatoes. This is adorable. They just want to eat a good pasta dish. Oh, great finds, guys. Yeah? Who's he talking? He's talking to the camera. Dude, we got plenty of stuff for all sorts of pasta dishes now. Imagine being presented with all these ingredients and saying, "Oh fuck yeah, time to make potato salad." Are you an idiot? What are you doing? Look at the spread though. Hell yeah. If there is a million Visha fans, I am one of them. If there is 10 Visha fans, I am one of them. If there is one Visha fan, I am that one. If there are no Visha fans, I am dead. Good job, Tanya. You did it. Wonder if you're missing some of the Japanese cuisine as well, based on the previous life. I guess it would work like that. Would that kind of stuff carry over? Maybe. Subarashi indeed. Of course you can. Well, I mean, episode 12 was pretty intense. So it was, actually. Where are you now? Oh no, same spot. You just realized the paradise that you're in. Fair enough. For as stupid as that could have potentially been, I thought it was actually pretty entertaining. The other thing I was thinking about whilst watching it is that you tend with these kind of special OVA type things to get a little bit etchy, which again hasn't really been the show's vibe, so, take that with a grain of salt, but we didn't go there anyway, which was interesting. I don't know, I didn't expect it. I'll have to do a grand tier list one day of the stupid, special / OVA episodes that I've reacted to on the channel and which ones are the best. There's some strong Girls and Panzer ones, I'll give them that. I really like the Symphogear specials as well. Little kind of chibi mini funny little skit things. They're pretty good. I'm trying to remember other ones they've even done. They must have done a couple somewhere along the way. This song still bangs, by the way, too. And yeah, onwards and upwards with the movie. I'm imagining it's just going to continue straight from where we've kind of left the story. I did note that Mary Sue was in the cast for the movie. Are we just going to do that storyline straight away? Or are we going to keep that on the back burner? We're going to have to see, I guess. Indeed. A little post-credit. A little something. Felt like it was a little early. More pasta. Ooh, look at that shot, too. Give me more pasta. Sure, man, whatever you say. And with that, we'll leave it for tonight. I'll return and talk about at least episode 12 in a little bit more detail. Probably not that much to analyze in the pasta episode, but it was very entertaining, as I said. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for a little bit of analysis. And we're back. It's the next day. Tanya the Evil, episodes 12, and the special, Operation Desert Pasta there, of course, in the books. What did I think? Very, very positive on episode 12, and largely the special as well, but obviously less discussion there to be had. In kind of reflection, such a great voice performance and presence from Tanya this episode, I would say, right? It's really almost a monologue in spots. Like, a lot of it is just her. And she kills it. That being both the character of Tanya and Aoyuki there, of course. Easily the most impressive part about the episode, in my opinion, is that menacing, foreboding, emotional, manic, lots of different words you could use to describe it. It's just such a special performance, I think. It's very, very good. But broader big picture stuff, I think, again, we did exactly what we needed to do in an episode 12 like this. The conflict itself is done. We've actually doing a little bit of subversion in that our victory was also our simultaneous defeat. I was surprised we went back into conflict so very early and straight back. Like, there was no lag time there, I guess, really. We're just straight back to it, you know? But again, we're sowing the seeds for bigger things to come there as well. Yeah. We'll be watching for those Russians, and especially our good friend Mary Sue. I'm very happy they went in that direction. I had a little inkling that we might, and again, that was almost spoilery based on me looking up Mary Sue and seeing that she was in the movie. But yeah, that's very, very smart. And in that way, you now don't even need to revive Anson Sue anymore, right? He's done his dash. Him as a going concern is done. Now he can move on to the newer generation, a character that is very much being built up as a kind of mirror to Tanya, the Joker to her Batman, or maybe the other way around, depending on your perspective. This younger female character that's this prodigious talent at what it is that she's doing. Again, we'll continue to watch to see what we do with Mary Sue. Of course, it becomes very, very interesting when you consider her name is Mary Sue. Yeah, again, Mary Sues have everything very easy for them. Like, the world bends around them. There's no conflict. She's instantly talented. Again, it's very smart. It's very smart what they're doing. That's all I'll say. And yeah, the other thing that I wanted to quickly shout out is that I thought this episode was directed quite well. Obviously, still have that really high level of fidelity that I've come to expect from the show. Looks great, sounds great, all that good stuff. And I guess while I'm here, I'll do a little bit of big picture stuff. I'll probably save a lot of that for after the movie as well, but shoutouts to the season of anime, man. It ended in a very different spot and ended up being a very different show than what I thought it was. And that's why you don't judge books by their covers, and that's why you actually go and experience things, and that's why you go in with an open mind and you can change your, impression of things on the fly based on evidence, That's how this thing operates, right? Full cards on the table. I was a little bit worried after episodes kind of 2 and 3, I guess. I was like, is this it? Turns out it wasn't it. There was way more, and some really actually interesting writerly stuff going on there as well. It ended up being far more enjoyable overall than I thought it would be. It's a nice surprise. Either way, I'll be here all night if I don't get a wriggle on here, so let's jump back through episode 12 quickly, shall we? I shouted at this first shot in the reaction. I agree with myself. A great sense of opulent forebodingness. I don't know how best to say that, but yeah, again, this kind of... It feels like a cheap victory. I don't know how they did it, but maybe it's the rolling dark clouds in the background or something, right? Yeah, for the moment, we've got our lights on and our banners up, but will that stay that way forever? Again, I think the lighting's doing a lot here too. Great first shot. Cut to immediately 2 wides of Tanya looking awesome and stuff. Kind of feels like it's her against the world here at the moment. She's after that kind of 2-headed dragon in Zetsubou and Rudersdorf. so she's kind of walking up to go and face them as well. She is in direct opposition to her superiors in the army at the moment. Lots of good kind of under the hood stuff there going on, I think. Tanya is on the lookout for, again, the two-headed dragon, as I've said, because she wants to give them a piece of her mind. Again, based on events from previous episodes, the war's going to continue. They're somewhat responsible by not letting her go and do anything and enforcing the armistice. She feels some kind of way about that, wants to go confront them. Of course, this turns into straight up anger when she figures that they're not away on business or anything. They're away drinking and partying and celebrating winning the war. When again, the reality couldn't be any further from the truth in that regard. They actually get communication this very night that they shouldn't be celebrating too hard. Love the edit here as well. So clear to see that Tanya's pissed off at them being at the beer hall at a time like this. Not even finishing that conversation, just storming off in the middle of it. Pretty good stuff. From here, Rarigan gets involved, and that basically encompasses the first half of the episode here. A long and arduous conversation with Rarigan, who of course has the history there with Tanya, and, you know, that's the kind of backdrop to all of this, right? His opinion of Tanya that has been well explored in the show, and how it may be coloring the interaction and the facts of the matter and that kind of thing. Again, does this look like somebody that you want to mess with at the moment? I wouldn't have thought so. Well, that's interesting. Mal has him under Eric von Lergen, which I guess is Lergen if you think about it. Yeah, okay, sure. Shinichiro Miki, who of course I am familiar with because of Roy Mustang, but there's many other myriad roles here. Specifically, of course, for the channel, Kaiki Deshu, or Deshu Kaiki, depending on your perspective there. I like Kaiki. Kaiki's a fantastic character in Monogatari, and I can actually really hear it now, so that's good that we've kind of closed the loop there too. I love doing the voice actor corner, man. It always makes me feel smart. Oh shit, he plays James? Of course, Kojiro. Whatever you say, man. It was probably somewhere in the episode, actually, but what actually is Rarigan's role in the military? Like, obviously he's higher rank than Tanya, I think, because the implication here is that he's asked her to sit in this room and have a chat. And again, we produce some documents later on that I'll talk about as well. Maybe that's, again, the kind of backdrop to all of this as well. I actually have something to tell you. But Tanya's on her best behavior here, attending this little tea party with Rarigan instead of pursuing what she was going to be pursuing. Somebody's going to have to explain to me the whole tea, imperial family tea side of it. That seems like a very Japanese thing that we're just kind of inheriting. What is Dalmaya? Anyway, I digress. Obviously, this interaction starts off very awkward before Rarigan asks Tanya for her unfiltered opinion, which causes a little bit of a sarcastic chuckle from Tanya. Do you really, really want to hear what I think? I don't think you do. And then the monologue begins, very sarcastically talking about the Empire and celebrating the victory. For this one moment, the Empire's glory and victory may be real. Again, what does that say? For this one moment. What are you implying, Tanya? Now, this is what I mean with the editing in the episode's really good. Follow me on this one, right? Victory, such a tempting thing. Naturally, everyone wants to savor a taste. And then there's that but. I think it's the but in the kind of Japanese sentence there, where we zoom in on the mouth and we see just a little bit of an actual opinion rolling through, I would say. The actual venom and disgust that she has for what's going on. That's why I really like that moment at the end of the episode where she straight up breaks through the facade. She says, fuck this shit, I'm not playing by the rules anymore. I literally said, fuck God, I'm doing this my own way in front of everybody. And they seem to be on board with it. Again, just these kind of nervous ticks early in the episode hiding this intention. Small interstitial scene here where we catch up with the rest of the gang who are broadly worried about Tanya. I'm not sure this one deserves all that much attention. What's more important is Tanya introducing the concept of using a victory, which is the episode's namesake. I guess what we should take from this is that Vish is a little bit more worried than everybody else, again having a larger amount of experience with Tanya. We also get the metaphor here of you'd imagine a moth of some kind being drawn to a flame. Now, what is this, right? This is in their nature to do so. It's, built into them to move towards the light. Maybe that's the presence of this full moon in the episode as well. Again, people, creatures, any of us, right? We always succumb to our base urges and our nature, right? Because we go into a big kind of spiel in the episode about the difference between, being a rationalist and a great strategic person and the realities of the human experience and what actually shines through in all of this. And I think very early we're trying to get that across. Even though it's to its detriment, the bug will always move towards the flame. And again, the bug in this metaphor being twofold, right? The bug being us, declaring victory early, basing that a lot on emotions, wanting to feel that emotional high instead of being a rationalist in both dire times and good times. And it's also obviously the enemy forces, right? They're acting on emotion as well. Even though it wouldn't be logical to continue the fight, they're going to continue the fight, and that's going to draw in more and more people. Again, this is what I'm talking about, right? This is us, succumbing to our base urges, right? We've won the day. It's tempting to lay back and have a tall glass of wine and a cigar and pat yourself on the back for a good job. But Tanya didn't do that. She felt this sense of unease, and she knew that something wasn't quite right. And then, when she was trying to act upon that, she was purposely pulled back. And again, just so these guys could have their moment of victory. Isn't that horribly short-sighted? And I like Tanya here, right? She's like, the soldiers on the front lines who are actually doing the hard yards, they probably deserve to kick back a little bit. A moment's respite. The boys going out to the beach. That's fine. Have your little barbecue. Do that whole thing. But you guys are meant to be switched on all the time. And again, that's why she dislikes this kind of beer hall type stuff so very much. We must remember, of course, the metaphor we've had through a lot of the rest of the episodes of the wine equaling blood. Pouring wine all over each other, feasting upon it, all that other kind of stuff, isn't it? Somewhat barbaric when you think of it that way as well. Should we really be cheersing and whatnot? And again, maybe a little bit of karma coming back to them for this kind of behavior. Yeah, this episode's great. The other one here is cigarettes. Cigarettes is a great kind of metaphor for this as well, right? Every rational person would tell you not to smoke. There is myriad terrible health effects for doing so, but people continue to do it. Well, on one level, yes, they're addicted, but on the other level, people don't act like perfectly rational robots all the time. Like even today, if I was min-maxing what I ate, I probably wouldn't have eaten as much pizza that I did, but that's neither here nor there. People act on urges, and again, the cigarette being used as a metaphor for one of them is quite nice. And again, to the point of self-destruction is the point there too. Tanya starts to get a little bit too aggressive towards the superior officers. Rurigan pulls her back into line. Tanya's like, oh, well, I thought you asked for my unfiltered opinion. Even if Mars, the god of war, loves you, that is arrogance. What you are saying is arrogance. But you fucked up. You said the word. God. Oh no. And again, clearly hitting a sore spot here. I'm afraid, sir, I don't believe that God loves me at all. Yeah, now that I've noticed it, what is Rurigan smoking at the moment as well? A cigar himself? Maybe a little pat on the back? Even in this very moment. Very, very funny. This is when Rurigan gets his goody two-shoes on a little bit. Because Tanya and Rurigan have beef from way back in the day, right? He basically thinks that she's a monster. Right? That she's this violent person that's always going to pursue conflict at any cost, right? And again, he thinks that she's just justifying another reason so that she can go on a murderous rampage. When again, that couldn't be further from the truth. She is looking to do as much damage now so that we don't do catastrophic damage later. Right? She wants to get it over and done with. She wants to end this thing and have a peaceful life. But again, that's not the perspective that Rurigan holds. And again, he's holding that against her as well. Even now, the Western Theatre Forces filed the complaint about the attempt to disobey orders. Again, I think that's referring to episode 11 stuff. Point being, like, this is my evidence for you being this bloodthirsty monster. Where again, couldn't be further from the... Well... I could think of things further from the truth, but it's not entirely the truth, let's say that. Rurigan here bringing up the idea of Tanya's actions potentially breaking the peace. We already have a tenuous hold on the Republic capital here at the moment. If you were to do anything aggressive like that, then that tenuous relationship could be even further strained, and you could be causing more harm than good in doing so. In that process, blowing that smoke over to Tanya and... Again, I would be pissed off. And again, as I've talked about, that metaphor of the cigarette and the smoke there as well. This is when Rurigan starts to drill down a little bit. Why? Why do you want to continue the war at all? You've been out there. I've been out there. War's hell. Nobody wants to keep doing this thing, especially when it may threaten the very peace that has become the norm and that we want to continue to have, right? And then Tanya goes on her whole spiel here about emotional reactions and rationalists and that kind of thing, right? First off, praising Zetsubou and Rudersdorf, of course, as pragmatists, highly skilled in political and military matters. As are you, Rurigan, right? Our strategic HQ is a powerful fortress of logic and knowledge. Therefore, due to rational reasoning, the war must be over. But it must be said that this rationale is incomplete. I think part of Tanya's argument here as well is thinking that this kind of rationalism and this kind of pure strategic view of things is a side effect of them being the commanding officers and not being on the front lines, right? As opposed to Tanya. Tanya's seen human nature at its most raw and open, right? On the battlefield. She sees what actually drives people, and it isn't this, right? It isn't the only thing that drives human action. I would say it doesn't even come close. Everybody works on emotions, right? Rurigan is somewhat offended. Are you saying that humans are still beasts, lacking in reason? Love the picture here displayed in the background, in a very obvious fashion, I might say, of you'd imagine some kind of Roman soldier defeating a dragon of some kind. You know, the kind of opulent thing that you would see in a place like this, I guess. You could take this in a number of directions. I'm probably choosing to see something like the Empire being the dragon, right? Every rational thought would tell you, if faced with a dragon, you probably shouldn't fight it with a sword and shield on your own. But on a very base level, humans love doing stupid shit like that, taking on fights that they surely cannot win and so forth. In fact, they're inspirational. In fact, they draw more people into the narrative, right? They're inspiring. They become stories that people want to replicate, which is, again, exactly what we're seeing from the ripple effects of, the end of the episode, right? With the Russians and the US getting involved and the Allied Kingdom increasing involvement and so forth, right? Despite this not being an action that a rational person would make, it is still deeply inspiring. And I think that's kind of the point that Rurigan's missing here. And what is Tanya basing this off? Her personal experience. And we go through it here, right? I've seen the eyes of men burning with hatred. I believe that scene there is from episode 8, I want to say. This guy? I feel like this was one of the kids after they burned the fucking town. He looked pretty mad. I've seen the moment when my talented men gave into anger and lost their reason. Specifically here, Weiss. This was very recently, I thought, Anson Su. I've seen the chain of revenge, well, with Anson Su himself. He's not acting rationally, right? If anything, if you're given a second chance at life, a rational person would go and see their family and skip town and not want to continue the war and not want to seek this vengeance, right? But no, he did. He pursued that. And this is where it comes full circle. This was one of my favorite moments of the episode. I have personally experienced an insane reaction against rationalism, right? The very start of the show there, of course, right? No matter how much we modernize, no matter how social norms affect us, humans are foolish creatures who sometimes prize feelings over reason. Yeah, all the way back to the very start of the show. So, again, refresher for the people that don't know. This guy was being fired by Tanya in their previous life. He obviously had some obligations and stuff and really needed the job, but however wasn't competent enough, didn't, meet the line or whatever. Instead of choosing to, buckle down, study, find another job, get over it essentially. No, I'm going to push this dude onto the train tracks and kill him. I'm going to murder another person in broad daylight in front of as many people as possible without a shadow of a doubt that it's me doing so. If this doesn't exemplify the kind of, last stand action of the French, right? Or the Republic, I guess I should say. Then what does? Every rational thought would tell them to abandon all hope and that the Empire is too strong and that you shouldn't try this kind of stuff. But no, throughout history, throughout all of time, people still act like our good friend here, acting on emotion and not reason. That is why I speak up as Tanya. We should not become intoxicated by a temporary victory. All flames of hatred must be extinguished. Maybe something there with flames and deities as well, maybe. The whole god connection. However, we did not extinguish all flames. Again, we focus in on the cigarette ash, right? there is still one fire still burning, and that's when we get the knock on the door and the reveal that, hey, the Republic are back at it. They've done the old wraparound. They're down in the south. And yeah, it's time for us to go snuff them out, basically. But again, as I've said, that's the thing that then draws everyone in my opinion. And yeah, we get a nice little map here as well. Down here, I believe it was like Algeria type way. Essentially, hey, they're still here. They're just chilling. They're doing inspirational, emotional speeches down here in the south. The Republic forces are proud and ready to fight back. And yeah, this guy does the most textbook, rousing, inspirational military speech I've ever seen, building upon those good themes of kind of nationalism, appealing to emotion, and getting all these men on board, right? The weight of the entire world is on our shoulders as well, giving kind of that kind of energy to it, right? How could you not respond? Yeah, we're gonna fight until the end. All the CG boys are gonna follow you into battle. Information quickly gets around the Empire that the Republic is still kicking and the war's going to continue. We have a new group calling themselves the Free Republic. There is a rise on the southern continent. They declare they intend to fight our Empire until the end. And yeah, instantly the whole Tanya crew are back at it again. Not a very long-lived holiday, I'll say. They say it'll be over by Christmas. Where have we heard that one before? Even I know that one. Love this touch here as well. We have Weiss here going through the initial advertisement for this position, right? Extremely difficult battle, little pay. Spend your days in combat in unfathomable danger. If you return alive, you'll receive honor and glory. They didn't even get that part. And again, not even a chuckle from anybody. They're just like, yep, that's the reality. Back to polishing our weapons, I guess. What a scene. Really love that. Of course, it would be ignorant for me to not mention the two-headed dragon before going into the scene of Zetsubou and Rudersdorf, where these two seem very tense, calling each other out for, again, maybe getting drunk on victory a little bit too much, and giving a little bit of the state of play. Survivors from the Allied Kingdom and the Entente Alliance will join the Republic forces down below. They are ever growing in number. The peace treaty that we were drafting has been sent back to the drawing board. And yeah, Rudersdorf fucking taps out. He's like, fuck that shit. We were so close, but they continue to live. Ultimately, our failure was not defeating everybody. Now our only choice is to send troops south. You know what? I've got the perfect person to do so. They both agree to send Tanya, but then Zetsubou thinks about something, right? Are we doing something wrong? The deployment to the south assumes that no other country joins the war. If another does, if any other countries intervene in the war, and then we kind of cut from there. Ominous, right? If only we had like a closing montage to elaborate on that some more. Then we have Tanya freaking out at a statue, which is fair enough. Again, that's that representation of Being X, the person in control here. I've been thwarted once again by their schemes. I'm very, very, very surprised we haven't had another conversation with Being X. For a very long time now, it feels like. Since he was a toy soldier, basically. Yeah, interesting decision. I thought we would check in a lot more throughout the show. Can't say I mind it all that much. I like the way we're going. It feels a lot like paranoia for Tanya, which I do enjoy. And yeah, Tanya there, going steadily insane, pointing a gun at a statue before walking out into the light, where we transition quickly onto a boat on the Mediterranean Sea as she joins the Southern Front against the remnants of the Republic forces. From here, the rest of the episode is essentially a monologue from Tanya, and works as a great summary piece for the show, basically, right? So there was a extremely powerful and proud nation of the Empire, right? Talented strategists and high mobility. It overwhelmed the dukedom of Dacia, the Entente Alliance, and the Republic. Look at that. That map's awesome. We grew out this far. How cool's that? That certainly won't scare you. Or you. Or you. Essentially here we've created a massive warfaring super nation in the middle of Europe that has become the target for myriad attacks. Who could have simply seen this coming? Love this line here as well. The Empire went to such lengths to display the sharpness of its sword, not considering the terror that the sharpness would inspire. Of course, everybody wants peace, so to protect peace, they take up their guns and thrust themselves into battle hoping to achieve it. Again, from the outside perspective, right? We're the enemy. If we want to achieve peace, then the only way we can achieve peace is attacking these people. Again, it's arrogance, not seeing the giant target we've put on our back to everybody else around, right? Focusing here on the Allied Kingdom, of course, flying through the air, a huge number of mages going through there. And yeah, specific focus on some characters that will potentially get some, expansion when and if that extra material comes along. This is the part that I'm getting interested in, right? This is the Federation here, of course. I wonder what nation they could potentially be. It truly is a mystery. We'll never know. Could there be a greater paradox? Ironically, their desire for peace caused the war's intensification rather than its end. So again, when Tanya was rushing ahead, right, she was doing the same thing. Like, hey, we gotta knock this war over now before it turns into a world war. In that process, paradoxically, we're making the world war occur. We're becoming scary. We're becoming a sword that's too sharp. Here specifically, we see a giant mounted weapon that the Russians will use. The Federation, excuse me. And this character design, which is frankly terrifying, he reminds me of that fucker from Helsing. The evil guy, the German guy. Or maybe not even him. Maybe the Scottish guy. I'm being very non-specific. But, yeah, kind of. I would like to see his eyes, I think. And again, I don't think we need to go into this scene all too much. This is Mary Sue, ladies and gentlemen. I basically clocked it immediately. I'm like, I know what we're doing here. And again, very smartly named Mary Sue is going to have basically the world revolving around her, I think. Tanya's going to have to fight against fate itself, right down to that character's very name, as well as her continuing on the kind of trend of the Sue family, I guess, right? Anson Sue attacking, and now you. Again, it seemed very simple, right? To just kill Anson Sue right there in the moment. Tanya didn't even think about it for a second. But again, much like the Empire themselves, their kind of flippant actions in the now causes these terrible things to happen in the future and more powerful people to join the conflict, right? I didn't consider that Anson Sue would have a superpowered daughter that's going to wreak havoc. And again, potentially I was short-sighted in doing so. Again, just kind of focusing on killing as many people as quickly as possible to end the war. So now it makes a lot more sense why we've got a really good voice actress to do this role as well. Makes sense. Because, yeah, she is going to have increased role in the story. Again, I feel like this is mirroring a lot of the Tanya stuff. Like, calling for her to not get involved in the war because, again, she's too young, she shouldn't be doing stuff like this. I have a daughter your age, that old chestnut. However, Tanya was always framed as doing it for bloodthirsty reasons, right? Because she's Tanya the Evil. Here we have Mary Sue doing it for the most heroic and inspiring reasons possible, which again shows the kind of dichotomy there, either end of the scale. Yeah, just emanating anime protagonist energy is Mary Sue here, calling on her to make her declaration as a volunteer. I declare that for the sake of peace, I must protect. For the sake of the family I love, I will give my whole power to make a world where nobody experiences sadness or the sadness of losing their family to the Empire. Those devils, of course, right? And again, she's really selling it. She's anime protagonisting out. This guy's almost crying at the outpouring of emotion. And of course, invoking God in the process as well. I believe in the good of God. I swear by my good heart which believes in the Lord. May the Lord's grace be with me. Her eyes going that shade of yellow, indicating that she has some kind of special power akin to Tanya's. And then, yeah, from there, straight into the special ED for the end of the episode. However, that is not the end. We have an epilogue here where Tanya goes the fuck off. Of course, we couldn't end the show without one more big old monologue from Tanya. Again, think about what Mary Sue was just doing with her speech and how she fucking loves God and is channeling God and all of this. We have Tanya the exact opposite, right? If there is a God who rules this world, it is a stern, solemn, and infinitely good being. A being that is far too great. God keeps forcing us to confront these cruel fates as if they were the rules of the world. From here, Tanya loses her hat, that protective layer, right? God's light shines down on her even more than before. Here's another note. one of the first sunny days we've seen in a while too. And yeah, finally says what she really thinks about God. Going from this expression here over to this expression here. In one kind of swift movement. She looks kind of funny there. That's a good frame. It seems like Tanya's stopped fucking around. She's not going to hide who she is anymore. She's just going to be wide out here hating on God, inspiring her people to hate God. And yeah, isn't going to take this in stride anymore. Is actively kind of seeking vengeance here and crying out and sulking to the rest of the world. Through this as well, we have Rarigan waxing lyrical about Tanya, saying, because again, the vibe is that Tanya's going to be put on a very hard mission very soon. It would be borderline impossible even for Tanya, but Rarigan's like, she defies reason. She defies rationalism almost, right? She is this beacon of emotion, of hatred that will just always win no matter what. And yeah, did I say voice acting? Holy voice acting, dude. What a scene. We soldiers will take God's place. We'll put the arrogant ass God out of a job. And yeah, the troops are a bit shocked, but they still like salute at the very end here. Like, oh, they love it. And yes, the Tanya I know, says Rarigan, is a monster in the form of a little girl. And yeah, Aoyuki says it's time for war. I'm following ya. No matter what, we will be there. And I guess while we're here, we can have a quick look at the other episode. Not in German, though. Where's my audio? There we go. This thing was actually pretty good. I think you can pretty obviously see the visual downgrade. It's just less fidelity. I'd imagine that this is almost in... like, what I was watching was probably 1080p. This is maybe 720, I would say. And yeah, I don't know. It's a stupid skit about pasta where they, like, steal different ingredients and make cool pasta. This action scene was the one part I wanted to shout out. Genuinely well animated. The other thing is, I think there's some cool looking, different looking character animation here. Specifically here, a lot of this this vicious stuff was fantastic. As she's kind of scrambling after saying the wrong thing, but actually kind of the right thing in front of Tanya. I liked this part. I thought it was pretty swell. And just in general, the conceit of the thing about them kind of chilling out and eating some good food after a while, there's still enough, you know, Tanya the evil goodness in there for you dorks. There's some fighting and whatnot, but this is essentially a slice of life episode, and I think it suits the show quite well. Again, I'm partial to slice of life, if you didn't know. Yeah, I don't know. I like pasta, and I like desert. So I like desert pasta. Did I say Girls and Panzer? Big Girls and Panzer vibes to all this. Just how non-serious it is. While keeping that kind of military edge to it. Yeah, it's good. I liked it quite a bit. With that, we'll leave Season 1 of Tanya the Evil. I'll repeat what I said before. Very different show than what I thought it was going to be, and I like it for that. Surprisingly good, I would say. Trust the process. We always got to trust the process. And again, some very interesting themes being brought up there in the very end. Hopefully some of my points there around the human condition were somewhat elucidating for you. And again, I'm hoping to see a lot of these themes carry forth going forward, and you know, whatever we do with this Mary Sue stuff, whatever the Russians do, looking forward to it and all. And again, I'm talking like it's the last week. It's not. There's next week. We've got a movie to watch, which apparently is about 90 minutes. Hopefully I'll have the time to do that here at somewhere. And again, I'll probably do a similar structure that I have with other movies on the channel, whereby I'll summarize things and write up some notes and stuff, rather than just going back through it frame by frame. But again, that's next week's job. Thanks for watching in the here and now. Like the video, subscribe, Patreon if you want to see that movie now, Discord. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. See you later. Goodbye. Thanks.